Hey guys, it's Kip here from KDC Marketing, and in today's video I want to talk about spacing and laying out your elements in Figma, but these principles also apply to web design in general, and I think this video will be really helpful. So over here I have my 8 pixel grid. So if you don't know what this means, it just means that some people like to do their designs in an 8 pixel grid, and the spacing is done in increments of 8 between the pixels. And you always want to follow, I would say, either an 8 pixel grid or a 4 pixel grid whenever you are working on a web design project to make sure that your elements are spaced evenly. And this is a game changer if you don't know this, because once you understand that you have these two options, either a 4 pixel grid or 8 pixel grid, it gets so much easier on how to space elements, so the space between them, but also on the size of the elements themselves. So this is the 8 pixel grid, and the idea is it starts at 8 pixels and it goes up by 8 every time. So you have 8 pixels, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, and that would keep going all the way into the hundreds and thousands. You always want to space things by 8 pixels at a time. And the 4 pixel grid is the same concept, it's just 4 pixels apart. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, and then onwards and onwards and onwards. And let me show you why this is so important when it comes to spacing your elements. So this section looks okay, but if it was down like this, you can tell that there's some gaps in here in the spacing. It's not completely even. So what I can do to fix that is fixing the space between these elements. So if I click each one of these elements and hold Shift, then I click Shift A. Now these are in a frame, and you can see I have 73 pixels between here and 73 pixels between here. So not great. It's not matching a 4 pixel grid or an 8 pixel grid. So if I was using an 8 pixel grid, then I might put these at 24 pixels in between each of these elements. And now my frame looks a lot better. These elements are spaced evenly, and if I go into each individual element, you'll see that this text element is 48 pixels, and the subheading is 24, and the text of this button is 16. So it's following this 8 pixel grid. Here's that main heading is 48 pixels, the subheading is 24, and the button is 16. And the space between the elements are 24. So if I want to pick another spacing, maybe I want more space between them, then I just go up by 8. So to 32. And now these are still staying within the pixel grid. If I want more space between them, 40 pixels. Right? So you're always going to go up or down by 8 pixels, at least most of the time. So let me go back to 32 here. Now if we look at this shape, it might look okay at the outset, but it's actually not. So this width and height here, we want to make this something divisible by 8. And this might not be exactly right, but we're just going to go 400 by 400. So now we have a perfectly square shape. And then we are going to put these two objects in a frame to space them. So I'm just clicking this one, I'm holding Shift and clicking on my frame. Now I'm going to create another frame in between, and you can see we have 148 pixels here. So I know that I want to use a number divisible by 8, so maybe I'm going to go with 96 pixels between these two. And then I'm going to center this in my frame, and now the spacing here is looking so much better. Now there's some things I can do too to change this this design. If I want to left align these, then I'll just go in and left align these to here for my hero section, or I could keep them center. But the idea is that it just makes spacing elements so much easier if you use either a 4 pixel grid or an 8 pixel grid. Now this isn't a perfect science. You can always break out of these rules, but most of the time you want to follow one of the two systems, and that's going to help your designs look so much more consistent when you go to design and then eventually build your website in whatever platform you use. So even here on my section size, right, I have 1440, now I have 600. So now it's looking a lot cleaner. And now my section has a nice good look to it because of the spacing and the layout using this 8 pixel grid. So I don't know that one's better than the other. There's a lot of opinions on these two, but I just wanted to bring to the attention that you can use either one of these and be successful, and it changes everything. It makes every design decision so much easier in the future, because you know it has to be either a multiple of 4 or a multiple of 8. You don't have to wonder, well, what if I had my text element here at 61? You know, it changes that. You won't ever do that anymore, because you'll know you can just go to 64 or 56. Same with these 24 or 32 or 16. It just makes those decisions so much easier. It takes all the guesswork out of what size certain things should be, and how much space between items you should have. And if you want to change the space between items, or the space of your the pixel size of your elements, then you just keep it within this 8 pixel grid. So this could keep going all the way to, like I said, 100 and thousands, and same with the 4 pixel grid. This could keep going. And if I wanted these to be closer, you know, maybe I'm doing 16 pixels here on the 4 pixel grid. But you're always working in these multiples of 4 and 8, and that's what gives you really good looking web design in your mockups, and then also when you go to build your websites, then you want to make sure you're using the 4 pixel or 8 pixel grid. Okay, I hope that helps. I hope I explained it well enough. And you could do so many other examples of sections and elements that look a little sloppy, and then you put them into the right spacing, and then they look so much better. So I hope that helps, and I will see you in the next video.